Hello, this is Rob Gentili and Mike Muckala from Epicor. We've been working closely with Vanessa and Joe on the HCM project, and this recording is really just to give you a quick insight and overview of the Epicor HCM project of the leadership team. It was worth taking just a quick minute and highlighting the reasons why we're talking today and what we're going to be able to bring from Epicor to SRF. So right now, Vanessa told me that you guys have multiple home systems. You're tracking information on spreadsheets and your Access database. Information then is moved manually between systems, and when that happens, it takes extra time and always opens up for the potential of data errors when you're moving it. The other piece we talked about is that benefit enrollments are done on paper at the moment. Point that during open enrollment, a temporary employee has been hired to help with all of that manual data process. Single location right now for employees to find their information. So at the moment, employees have to go to multiple locations, and that causes a situation where it's not easy to find it, therefore sometimes employees don't seek it out. What we're looking to do moving forward with HCM is provide a single system for all HR information. This means no moving data between multiple systems. It also means that employees and managers are able to find that information when they need it in that one spot. We're also looking at getting rid of paper for benefits, right? You're going to have an online benefit enrollment. You're going to have carrier integration. All of that information is going to be electronic. It's going to save a ton of time when it comes to those enrollments and moving that information ahead. The other we're going to have with one system is employees are going to have access to all their data from a PC at any time as well as a mobile device. The system also brings to it strong workflow capabilities. And it's going to allow you to set up systems in place where when an employee or a manager wants to make changes, it's going to go down a specific path. So we've got a nice recording of when it happened, who requested it, when that request was approved. And then last but not least, one of the things that Epicor really brings to the table is a completed existing web service automation to Deltek Vision. And this is worth taking just an extra second to talk about because that investment in Deltek, you want to make sure you leverage that investment in Deltek. And one of the things that I did was reach out to one of our existing customers that is using the Deltek interface with Epicor HCM. And a couple of the ways that they told me that they're using it to support their overall business is they've chosen to tie the billable rates from the pay grades in Epicor HCM over to Deltek. So when an employee is hired or changes the job, that pay grade billable rate pushes into Deltek, so there's never a need to enter it in there a second time. And they also use Epicor HCM to track their utilization rate, and that expectation also pushes over to Deltek. So just a couple simple ways that existing customers finding value from integration to Deltek Vision. Taken up enough of your time, we'll go ahead and hand it over to Mike Muckala so he can show you the software and get an idea of what it looks like and how it works. Mike?
Thanks, Rob. So we layer on homepage. From our homepage, where we find our access to information. You'll notice I have a series of dashboards and components that are going to allow me to access information in multiple different ways, single location. Here on the right-hand side of my screen, I have dashboards, one a to-do list and the other a checklist dashboard that are working in tandem. The checklist dashboard enables us to have internal processes automated throughout the system. So when something happens, a list can be triggered, emails can be sent, and action items can be listed under to-do lists. And I have a link here to create 90-day performance goals for a new named Angela Archer as a part of her onboarding checklist. Down below, we can see that I'm also the owner of that checklist. This means responsibility to make sure we're following the correct procedure. See right from the here that we're 44% complete with this particular list. If I over it, I'm able to see that we have 9 steps in the process, and the first 4 have been completed. If I drill into it here, I'll be able to see who the action item has been assigned to, when it was due. We do have a few that are highlighted in red. Those are overdue. So I have the ability here to either reassign this step or get in touch with that individual to make sure getting this done in a timely fashion. Moving on to the homepage, you'll see at the bottom here, I have a couple of reporting dashboards. The first one is employee absences by day of the week. I'm looking at a snapshot to see trends. The part that represents the absence occurrences is based on security here in the system, which means to log in as a supervisor, I may see a different pie chart here representative of the people I have security access to see. So that, entry report. In the report, I can see my roster, which is going to be the R team. I can see all the absence plans they're enrolled in, the balance they have on each plan, and most importantly, the cost our organization is against each of these absence balances. So reports here, but certainly go ahead and have more or build out other reports. Top here, I can into one of our 3 report builders by simply selecting one of my favorites. In this case, I'm going to access our analytics. In analytics, you'll notice it's populating a spreadsheet at the bottom of my screen. When I open that up, what we're going to here, some fields from my database. What I've highlighted in the introductory here was that we're able to look at benefits in multiple. You'll see that I have a pre-populated cube of all of my benefits as well as the benefit count. I can move right and I can change the values. Instead of look count, maybe I look at total premium, which is going to include the employee contribution amount. I can maybe focus on some of our more popular plans, such as dental, medical, short my cube here just a little bit. Then I can go change maybe the coverages we're looking for. Maybe I just see something like our employee only as our coverage. Once I've done, I can work with the Excel tools that are provided in this information. I just went into a bar chart, and I get a visual representation of this data. I continue to work with it in a graphical sense. If I add a new variable, I certainly could. I could ask for some more fields here. Maybe I want to grab some department to add to this. I can go ahead and extend that a little bit further, add some more detail, and then of course hover over any of these items to get those values. So report builders here that's accessible from the home page. I'd like to move on just a little bit and talk about the right-hand side of our screen. Our answer to manager self-service. This takes a top-down approach. So directors, managers, and supervisors are going to have different views here. And when they click the arrow next to their name, they're going to be able to see their direct reports, and they go down a level further and see the folks who report to them. The power of this is twofold. It follows us throughout the system, so we always find our people. If we just go on a name, it allows us to work with that person from anywhere in the application. Here, we can see a nice summary of James' Arts. We can jump into any task or any functional area here of the application. Items that Joe and Vanessa had mentioned to us, if you're interested in, is the management aspect here of the system. And first, we're going to jump over to the employee self-service function, and then get over to the development area. In the development area is where an employee can come to view goals. Goals set in a number of ways, and they can be set in automated ways. Putting check marks, job need goals. That means we're looking at the employee's job description and working gaps based on competency trainings we expect out of that position. We also do corporate cascading goals. That's a type of goal where we can cascade that over a group of people. Maybe all SRF has one goal and no individual could complete that goal on their own. It's a team effort. Or maybe it's the HR department. Those goals can have payouts associated to them, and they can be scored as part of your performance appraisal. Just a little bit here, I have an appraisal that's currently in progress with me, the employee. And if I was just in passing wanting to add a note to that, click on Journal. Clicking on Journal, I can add some attachments here to provide evidence and why I think I excel in a certain area. So these are the questions that appear in appraisal, and just by clicking on one of these, I can add maybe a couple of emails or a Word document. I edit and resume the self-appraisal process. In this, I've already started this appraisal and filled all of the questions except for the top one, but it was in question groups. I can see that Harold is the next person to review me, and this is orderly review. Top question group. But what I have is how do I communicate with my coworkers, and where I think I am well above expectations in this regard. I have proof. I can add another journal entry, put another email or another document that I believe provides evidence. When I hit that screen, you'll notice a button appears where I can submit this on to the reviewer. So I'll go do that now. In the right corner, I'm just going to jump over to what the manager sees here in terms of the review. Clicking on the SPIAF and jumping to the performance review area, we can hear what the manager would expect to see. On the person, do we have an apples-to-apples comparison? And edit that particular performance appraisal. The question that was just answered by the employee, and now the question as a manager. But before that, I may want to answer one of my own questions by clicking on the employee profile here. I can go ahead and work with questions to maybe make them more appropriate for the position based on the weight. Or I could just go ahead and answer here and say maybe this one's below expectations. What I have here is misaligned expectations, and I can get some coaching here from the HR team. I feedback and make sure I keep this constructive. Note that now I can go ahead and submit this for approval. In approval, we can also have multiple ways this can be routed for approval, different parts of the organization. And we get information at the end of the day, and we can plot it onto a salary plan or a performance matrix. In this case, I have a small salary plan here that has been sent out to the supervisors. We supervisor a budget. We show scores of the most recent performance appraisal and recommendations as to what the salary increase or merit increase should be. So I can see that I'm way over budget, and I can head and click, and I can remedy that very quickly. I can say I have a 66% raise, which was my, I'd say it's a 6 raise. My budget is restored. I'll no longer have to justify, and the alert will have gone away. Also access the employee profile from here, and I can model all sorts of different combinations of both base pay increases and other pay increases. Here's model. Leadership will have the final task of committing to any modeling supervisors have done, and all of this can be easily exported into an Excel spreadsheet. Wrap up. I just wanted to share one last area of the system with you, skill search. And search is an area that helps us identify the appropriate people for projects or certain jobs. With a skill search, what we're going to do is actually do a query of our database. What we're going to do from this front end, and I can whether or not I want employees or candidates or a combination of both, and then I can choose between a job qualification or a person qualification. A job qualification is going to list the job, and by scenes, it's going to describe what we expect to see from in that job in terms of skills and competencies, license and certifications, classes and language abilities. Write that report. It's going to show you a bullet point list of what we expect, in this case, in our account managers. We want a general appraiser certification. We want some management competencies. By qualification or by person, scroll down, I can see that James Arts matches 3 of the 6 criteria. I can expand upon that. I can see red where he does match, and where he does match. I can go deeper, send personal communication here to just James, or I go into the entire group. I apply this search, enter a person qualification, or I get much more granular. You'll note my general query is still here, so I now add something like a company. I'd like to see somebody who's worked at Epicor in position. And maybe see if they also have a first aid certification in addition to that general appraiser certification. Now, two criteria to the query. I report, I should get a different set of results. In this case, we can see that John LeBoy is now my match. He's leapfrogged over James, and he might be better for this job or for this upcoming project. I wanted to show you today, your attention, and if there are any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or to Rob. Thank you.